Hi, thank you for tuning in again. I hope you caught the last episode. I was explaining what makes a strategic land investment in our view. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing a specific example with you on how this has played out for us with one particular investment. You're watching Own Land in Kenya. I'm Solomon Wangwe.
That's good.
So, a few years back, about 3.5 years ago, we made a decision to source for land on the shores of Lake Elementaita. Why? Because we've always had a dream to own property on the lakefront. And I'm talking about personally. This is an investment that the business made as Goshen Acquisitions, because we understood that over time, lake frontages, especially in Kenya, are a huge premium. We have less land fronting lakes in Kenya, habitable land fronting lakes in Kenya, than we do have coastline. So by virtue of that simple fact, lake frontages are more premium than beach frontages. And that means over time, demand for this space will only get higher, which then puts pressure on land prices. That's number one. Number two, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. Lake Elementaita is famous for its mind-numbingly stunning sunsets. If you've never experienced that, please make sure you take your drive. It's an hour and 45-minute drive, I believe, from Nairobi down the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. There's lots of decent, nice places to stop by, including Kikopey, famous Kikopey, where you can stop by for nyama choma and experience the sunset. It's amazing. And that has to do with desirability, like I mentioned in the last video. The other thing is there's a lot of activity happening at Lake Elementaita, commercial activity, a lot of resorts. That's an obvious one. If you're on a lake frontage, you are primely placed to be of interest to a future hotel developer if you're holding the land, right? Because it makes sense that a resort or hotel would want to be on the lakefront. So these are some of the reasons we made the decision to invest in Kikopey, Lake Elementaita. That was 3.5 years ago. Fast forward to today, there's a big push by the government of Kenya through the Kenya Wildlife Society, NEMA, the National Environmental Management Authority, WARMA, they manage water resource for the country, Kenya Forest Service, and many others, in conjunction with the UN through UNESCO. Why? Because they have decided that Lake Elementaita, being a salty lake, is sensitive ecologically for endangered wildlife, specifically bird life. So UNESCO is in the process of adopting Lake Elementaita along with the other two lakes, because Elementaita is the smallest of the three, as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And just to be blunt, this is huge as a property owner if you're next or within a heritage site that is globally recognized as being unique and rare. That does amazing things for valuation because it's a lot more desirable for the right kinds of uses. It also kind of helps that Soisambu Conservancy, about 70,000 acre property, sits across the other side of the lake. Aside from the views, these are all good things to have around your property in the long term. And so this is what I mean by strategic land investment. There's rhyme and reason for it. There's a thought process, there's a clear vision, a clear goal for why you're investing where you are. There are certain places, honestly, I would not take land for free, right? Because they don't meet my criteria for what makes a good investment. And so you have to define that for yourself. And ultimately, what does that mean for our pockets, right? That's why you invest. You're trying to grow your wealth passively, preferably. You know, I'll be as blunt as possible about it, just because I want you to understand what this means for your numbers. In 2014, when we bought this property, we paid 5.56 million shillings per acre, effectively. Today, not even today, forget about today. Last year, a neighbor of ours, 99 meters to our left, was selling 40-foot by 60-foot parcels of land. That's about 2,400 square feet. That is smaller than an eighth of an acre. An eighth of an acre is 50 feet by 100 feet. he was selling 40-foot by 60-foot plots. These were residential slash commercial because it's part of a larger resort compound. He was selling these parcels of land for people to build holiday getaway cottages and apartments, and each sold for 5.5 million shillings. Right? So we paid 5.6 million shillings for an acre 3.5 years ago. Last year, 2 years later, 2.5 years later, our neighbor was selling less than a 16th of an acre for the same price. So we basically made 16 times what we paid for the land, in theory. And this is what strategic land investment is all about. I hope that helps and gives you a clear understanding of what that entails for you. If you have any questions or comments to make, maybe share some of your experiences. We'd love to hear from you. You can do so through our website or check out our YouTube channel. Leave your comments there, like and share, don't forget, and we'll be happy to engage with you. You've been watching Own Land in Kenya. My name is Solomon Wangwe. Stay tuned for more information on strategic land investment.